Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod. I'm here to talk about Big Brother UK 2023, Days 7 through 13 and the second live eviction. Firstly, sorry for the delay. I know this is a little bit later than usual. I was doing a bit of traveling and it was hard to find international TV as I was traveling, but now I'm back, and also thank you for everyone who listened to my last video. I wasn't expecting to get any views or have an audience for BBUK. So we pick up where we left off. Farida was just evicted, which, as I said last time, was unfair, unjust, and a big loss to entertainment lovers everywhere. Trish stands up for Farida because everyone was celebrating Carrie staying and not comforting Farida when she was evicted, maybe because the house is full of bullies, Trish. And yeah, I said the B word. I feel like there are some bullies in the house, and there are some clear factions forming this week in the house. I decided that even though I didn't agree with the eviction of Farida last week, I'm going to try to have more of an open mind about Carrie because she is a very big character. Trish and Nucky explain that cheering could be seen the wrong way, and Olivia defends it. Carrie seems to understand what they're saying. Later on, Maddie opens up to the other house guests about being in an open relationship with his partner, and Olivia is very fascinated. In the backyard, Jenkins tells Chanel and Tom that he doesn't like most people in the house. They think it's funny, but I don't think it's very funny, but I can see where he's coming from. They all mistreated him in the beginning. A few people talk about food budgets, and they think that Trish is going to be annoyed because they can't get lamb chops and be angry. Then they tell her and she's totally cool about it. I think it was problematic that they were assuming that Trish was going to be mad about the lamb chops. Trish hasn't lost her temper about anything so far, so why do you think she's going to be mad about this? Furthering this kind of anti-narrative, Trish and Olivia have a good bonding moment in the bedroom about them being big personalities and not wanting to be pit against each other, which was nice. Later on, Chanel gets a secret task to give the other house guests backhanded compliments to get some sweets for the house. It's pretty funny. She tells Carrie her sweater looks like something someone would wear in the circus. She ends up winning the sweets. They end up getting photos from home, and it was so random to me that they would get photos after only a week in the house. I feel like shows usually do this later in the season when there's not really a lot of content. But we do get a really emotional scene where everyone talks about their own sob story for a minute. I would cry as well if I was there. Afterwards, Henry expresses to Carrie that he has a crush on Jordan. This really surprised me and caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting this. I knew that they were friends, but I wasn't getting any vibes that they were flirting. It's very obvious right away that this is going to be a huge storyline. They wake up the next day and Big Brother says they're going on holiday. They're excited, and Yinrun does a rooster impression and howls like a wolf. It turns out that they're really going to be living outside in a camping type situation for a shopping task, and already Carrie is being a Karen. Carrie is unhappy that the outhouse is wheelchair accessible because now she has to use it. Maddie says this is his dream task, and Yinrun says her dream task is to shave a sheep. For the first part of the task, half of the house is tasked to set up tents in the mud and the windy rain. They juxtapose the absolute chaos that is this challenge with the other housemates sunbathing in the yard. Olivia ends up being super helpful to the team, and she, Paul, and Trish are the winners. They win access to the luxurious glamping area inside. They have to pick someone to be excluded, and Trish volunteers. Hallie has a bit of a meltdown in the diary room, and I feel like she was really trying to be the next Nikki Graham with this, but it really just ended up coming across as very negative and immature. The second half of the house guests later have an endurance challenge where they just have to stand in the rain until they can't anymore, but they have ponchos on, so it can't be that bad. Carrie has it the worst because she's sitting in a chair that's getting wet and she has to just sit in it. It seems like the challenge doesn't end up lasting for too long because not a single person quits and they all just are decided to win. So because it's an all-way tie, they have to decide who amongst them are going to get the VIP tickets. It's pretty clear that Carrie is going to be one of the people who are picked because if not, she would have a meltdown. Chanel and Nucky are the other two options for the second spot. Chanel wants to give it to Nucky, and Nucky wants to rock, paper, scissors, while Carrie shivers and is going into hypothermic shock. There's a hilarious moment while they're debating where Carrie rolls over on her mobility scooter and screams, "Someone please just do rock, paper, fucking scissors, just do it, 1, 2, 3, shoot, do it!" Somehow, randomly, Jenkins gets thrown into the mix last minute for deserving it the most, and he does deserve it the most. So Jenkins, Carrie, Olivia, and Paul are the four who are selected to be the glampers, and they get to sleep inside while everyone else sleeps outside in the backyard. Jordan confesses he doesn't relate to Olivia or Paul. Paul always talks about defecation or farting. This confessional from Jordan really seems like a death sentence for Paul. Jordan is pretty obviously one of the fan favorites, so if he doesn't like you because you're talking about defecation and farting, then you can fart your ass out the door. Hallie has another big meltdown after eating food out of a can and starts crying after visiting the diary room. The glampers encourage her not to react this way or everyone else will nominate her. Jordan and Henry chat in their sleeping bags and maybe flirt, or maybe it's one-sided from Henry, we shall see. Inside, the glampers have a silent disco and listen to Single Ladies Put a Ring on It and Mr. Brightside, and it really is nice seeing these four have fun. In the diary room, Trish says that Carrie's niceness is performative and that her tantrums are performative as well. This again seems like another death sentence for Carrie. In the morning, Big Brother has them do laughter yoga where they just have to stand around laughing, and it's scored by Lily Allen's Smile. I love that song. They all have to laugh for 5 minutes straight, and I wrote in my notes that I hope that they failed this because Hallie, Tom, and Chanel were not laughing enough for me. Afterwards, Hallie apologizes to the group for being a diva about the task, and Nucky and Chanel clear up a really not important issue. Big Brother later reveals that they passed most of their little tasks, but they did fail the laugh after yoga, which is good because they deserve to fail. It's revealed that there was also a secret task to be a happy, happy, happy camper. Big Brother had been repeating happy, happy, happy the whole time, but no one had even pointed out that maybe they should try to be happy. So overall, it seemed like they were really doomed to fail this challenge. They eventually do their shopping. Everyone handles it really maturely, except for Naki, who marches into the diary room to scold Big Brother for not having dairy-free options on the shopping list. She rants for a few minutes, but then when she gets back, they're like, "Oh, Naki, we found the dairy-free options on the list." Zach ends up making joking, sexist comments in front of Trish and Olivia, and I can't tell if they're offended or joking because they keep acting offended but then laughing. This conversation ended up making me feel a little bit tense as a viewer and a little uncomfortable, just not knowing what was going to happen next. There was a lot of weird back and forth here where Zach was starting to play fight with the women, Trish, Hallie, and Olivia. Later, Hallie tells Zach that his nipples are constantly hard, so I guess that they're cool. And then later on again, Naki and Zach are play fighting physically, and I'm on edge again as he's continuously making joking, sexist comments. Then she pours a drink on him, and he pours a drink on her, and she laughs, so I guess they're having fun. This isn't my idea of fun. The next day, they find out that nominations will be taking place. I'm so happy that the nominations aren't airing the same day as the eviction. This week, they each have to nominate 2 people, and I took little notes on what people were nominated for. Apparently, Zach is selfish, takes other people's food, sits on the fence, he's shallow, he's a bro, he's two-faced and untrustworthy. Jordan is not helping clean around the house. Hallie is being a performative drama queen. Carrie is not interested in others. She throws tantrums at minor inconveniences. Nucky brags a lot about her achievements and is melodramatic. Trish can be confrontational, inconsiderate, and wanted to eat lamb chops in the middle of the night. She brings up controversial topics for no reason. Henry doesn't contribute to house chores, loves to eat, hates to clean. Olivia is loud, overpowering, performative, doesn't know how to talk to people. Maddie is annoying, Carrie doesn't like him, sly when it comes to communal food, and messy. And Paul is not very emotionally intelligent and is lewd. Later, Big Brother reveals that Zach and Henry have the most nominations and will face the public vote. Yinren gets really emotional empathetically, and she's just so cute. Henry breaks down in the diary room about how he's made good friends and just wants to be himself. Jordan and Henry later sit on the floor and are they gonna kiss? And then they have a brief conversation and don't kiss and they get up. Later on, Jordan and Maddie are gonna chat and Jordan is being very flirty with Maddie and touchy, and are they gonna kiss? As they're flirting, they keep throwing in shots of Henry, really pushing the narrative. Henry's crush is flirting with someone else. In this moment, Henry's a very sympathetic character because we've all been there. As the conversation between Jordan and Maddie starts heating up, Zach comes over and kind of sandwiches himself in the conversation. So that pretty much ends the flirting for the evening. The next day, Dylan, who hasn't done much of importance so far, is feeling energized and motivated to win Big Brother. He's finding purpose being in the house. Yinren cries in the diary room saying that she feels isolated and used to think that she was interesting, but feels like people don't want to talk to her, but she feels grateful to have her friends Trish, Jordan, Henry, and Maddie. It really wouldn't surprise me if these 5 were the final 5 on the season, especially after Trish and Maddie comfort Yinren in the bedroom. Later on, Hallie and Olivia get in trouble for writing secret messages on each other's backs. Big Brother makes Hallie and Olivia apologize and admit that they were calling Zach a game player, and then sentences them to jail in the garden. They have to wear orange jumpsuits and have to sit outside in the rain, which seemed like a pretty brutal punishment. While they're being punished, Zach tells Maddie that Olivia and Carrie said that he overeats. Outside, the Diva prisoners are released and march to the diary room and have a very negative and unfunny joint rant to Big Brother. There's a lot of apologizing that happens. Maddie goes to Carrie about what she said about his overeating. Carrie feels like Zach was trying to start trouble and apologizes to Maddie. Hallie also apologizes to Zach and Nucky for breaking the rules. Carrie confronts Zach for telling Maddie about what she said. She calls him bitchy. He calls her bitchy right back. They agree to disagree. Finally, we get to eviction night and AJ and Will look amazing. On this episode, we find out that Big Brother is turning the house into a fast food restaurant. They need to prep and eat food throughout the day. Obviously, the food is going to be gross. Jenkin and Chanel are the cooks, and Tom will ride his bike to deliver the food, and then whoever gets it has to eat it with a smile. Some highlights of this were Hallie throwing up her food onto her tray and then smiling and saying, "So yummy." Jordan and Maddie throwing up all over themselves in bed, and Chanel and Jenkin improvising about their fast food job when they were alone in the restaurant. Carrie taking a huge bite of her sandwich and opening her mouth to show us, to feel her pain with her. It was all really funny and really gross, but they passed the task and won some good food. Afterwards, Hallie gets pulled into the diary room on screen so everyone can see. She's called out for breaking the rules about nominations. So she broke the rules about nominations while she was on her apology tour, apologizing for breaking the previous rules. Big Brother makes her put on a silly rule breaker costume that's more humane punishment, and she really didn't deserve a severe punishment for this anyways. Hallie ends up completing her punishment, and then host Tom comes out wearing her punishment to eke a jolly laugh out of the viewing crowd. We get some positive Jenkin content when he opens up to Chanel about being comfortable in his size and wanting to inspire and represent people, and I'm happy that we're seeing a more pleasant side of Jenkin this week. Also, Jordan and Henry have a nice moment in the kitchen where Jordan is saying he's hoping that Henry doesn't think his stoic nature is making him feel like he doesn't care about Henry. Later, Jordan and Maddie have another suggestive conversation about dark rooms and have some physical touch. Later, Jordan in his diary room basically admits to having a crush on Maddie, but is staying reserved because Maddie is in an open relationship and he doesn't want to get hurt. Hallie opens up to Naki and Carrie in the bedroom about her body issues that affect her as a trans woman, and it's a nice moment where they're supporting and helping her. While I usually feel like Hallie is very immature and it usually isn't a good idea for her to be in there with so little life experience, I think that having someone of her age and situation on television could really help people in her shoes. We wrap the content up with Maddie's DR about how he sees Jordan as a friend and is enjoying his friendship, but then Jordan drunkenly nearly admits his crush to Trish. I wouldn't really call this a love triangle, but I would expect this story to continue further in the coming weeks. Henry has a crush on Jordan, who sees him as a friend, and Jordan has a crush on Maddie, who sees him as a friend, and Maddie has a crush on his boyfriend. We finally get to the second eviction, and the second person evicted ends up being Zach, though there are plenty of cheers to get Henry out. So I feel like the Zach versus Henry matchup was pretty evenly matched. Personally, I could have seen either of them go this week and been totally fine with it. I think overall throughout the week, Henry was getting more positive content by being seen as a sympathetic character with the Jordan situation. I don't think Henry by himself is a very sympathetic or likable character. It doesn't really help that he was lying in his VTs about his political beliefs that he doesn't really care about and was just saying to be a troll. So overall, I don't think that really makes him look good. It really helps Henry that he's friends with a lot of the right people and is in some really interesting storylines that people probably didn't want to get rid of right now. Whereas with Zach, a lot of his joking came across as really problematic throughout the week, which is insane to me because last week he was really a likable figure. He came across last week as a very knowledgeable, mature person, but all he did this week was create a lot of drama seemingly out of boredom. I feel like he was trying to be entertaining, but overall came across as very cringe. I'm happy to see him go. He wasn't giving me anything that was really interesting. And one less broy jock in the house means less opportunities for scenes of all the broy jocks hanging out together. Overall, it's probably for the best for Zach to leave here because if he stayed 1 or 2 more weeks, he was going to do something problematic that got himself completely canceled. So that's all I have to say about this week. I'm going to try to get my next video for Big Brother UK out a little bit sooner. Let's shoot for Sunday night. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss that video whenever it comes out. Until then, have a nice week, and to my new subscribers across the pond, thank you for being a supporter. See you soon, bye!